I am Young Fearless, the rapping professor. She is Quasi, the super producer. He is Jay Scott, 2 T's taking over technology. And you're waking up with WURD, y'all. It's WURD on Violence Initiative. We're having a conversation before the break with Catherine Searight and Alissa Jackson and family members and friends about the senseless deaths of good young men. That's the main point that we need to make sure people understand. Because people are sort of programmed in our community, even within our community, to say, what'd he do? As though anybody deserves to die just for being young and making mistakes if that was the case. In this case, in these two cases, it wasn't even that situation. But I'm here to testify personally. If you thought I should have been dead because I did some knucklehead stuff back in the day, then I would have been dead. And a lot of people listening could think back to a lot of knucklehead stuff they did. It don't mean you deserve to die, but we've been trained by the media, like through Mike Brown and everything. They keep, putting up people's records and what they did to the point where you start to even sympathize with murderers, and it takes your humanity away. One of the things that we were talking about off the mic, and if y'all want to chime in, that's fine, was despite the accountability of the parents in the community, a lot of people in the community and even on the airwaves oftentimes believe that the reason why there's this difference in response, like a cop gets, even just knocked out, there'll be cops all through the neighborhood for days until they find them and all that. And the difference between how they treat a community, act of violence is because it's by design. People say that the system's broken, and other people argue the system's working exactly how it was designed to work. This is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to frustrate us and break up our families and take our loved ones from us and put us in jail for far more time than everybody else. And if y'all want to speak to that, y'all can just jump on the mic. But I think a lot of the listeners who call in, they feel the exact same way. They feel like it's sort of. It's not even sort of. It's a setup in a way where if you even say that it's a setup, they try to make you the bad person.
Right.
It's almost like with the community, they'll say, why aren't you doing enough to investigate these crimes? And their first response will be, well, the community, they got no snitching.
Right.
They'll throw it back on us. Like they not detectives and police officers and everything else. Like, oh, well, if they just, that's what investigation's all about. If people ain't trying to talk, especially in a day and time where you can talk anonymously.
Right.
And people in Philly, I mean, we know the history, but there's people who was alive during the JBM highlight days, and there's people who was around for the Lex Street murders. We understand that there's some concern with witness and all that, and the witness protection might not be adequate, but we got phones, y'all. You could buy a burnout phone with no IPN and no link to you, and you could text any type of Crime Stopper tip line you want in the city, and you could let them know exactly who did what, and you can give them the address, and you could throw the phone in the trash right after you do that if it's that deep to you.
Because we're not asking for names. We not want you to say a name. We want you to give just you call that number. We ask for names. We all ask for names.
Names of the people who did
it. Just call that number and say, oh, so and so. I know what so and so is. And you direct them where they are, So simple. You ain't got to get a name. Your name. You don't get your name. Just where they are.
So this whole idea about being scared to do it, it doesn't hold weight at this point.
No.
If it was like, the early 90s or something, where you had to go to the station or you had to call from your house before cell phones was popping, everybody just had beepers or two-way pages or something in the 80s, then you can say, well, I don't want it to come back on me.
Right.
And it's not even information that only you would know. It's different if you're the only person that was witness to something, and they say, well, they'll know I said it. That's if you saying this person did the same type of thing, at least go investigate it.
Because you know who this person is.
And if it was your family.
If it was their family, they'll say something immediately.
That's the craziest part.
Don't concern them, so they not.
My niece
go ahead.
saw the young man's dad in the store 2 weeks ago. She approached him. She says, you need to make his son turn himself in. You know what he told her? I tried, but he won't do it. Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, so he hasn't been brought in for questioning?
No. They can't even know. We don't even know who he is.
I know. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 8 black men in the room right now. And if we counted the amount of times that we fit a description, you know what I'm saying? And somebody at least investigated us on the side of the road, even if we just got pulled up. There's so many times that they just go ahead and investigate with no reason.
Exactly.
Stop and frisk you with no reason. To think that the person, if you know and your niece know, and if 5 or 6 people in the community know, why haven't the police went and questioned the people or held them? What? I don't understand.
It's not a priority.
Like you said, go ahead.
I mean, it's because of the design. The government, they want our kids going. For South Philly, they gentrifying our neighborhood. So The police came to us and told us they know what's going on. If y'all know what's going on and a woman got shot 9 times.
Wait, you said they know what's going on?
Not with our son, but
just in general.
Within the community.
Right.
Now, who's talking? If you want to tell me who's talking and everything.
I'm Samir's stepdad.
Now, go ahead.
So, the woman got shot 9 times and another woman got shot in the head. So they out there for 4 or 5 days. They told me and my wife that we know what's going on. Y'all need to bring y'all kids inside, whatever. So if they know what's going on, why leave? Like, why sit there 4 days? Why not sit there 4 months?
Yeah.
Like this is.
They sit outside the mayor's house and all that.
Design, right? This is the design. Just like the big war going on, they gonna leave. Samir got killed. They gonna sit out there 6 days and be gone. 3 months later, somebody else gonna get killed. That's how they want it.
No, and you talk about closing these schools. I know we're having a little conversation off air just about how a lot of times when a school gets closed, it's not just about an educational or a budgetary concern with the money. You got different communities being forced together with less resources.
Right.
It'd be different if you got a brand new school. You know what I'm saying? Y'all used to fight, but y'all about to come up. We done upgraded everybody. Right. New schools crazy. No, we're gonna say less books, more metal detectors, less programs, less counseling, less security. But now y'all together. Not even in assembly. I don't know if you had that, but usually when they combine these schools, they don't even have a situation where it's like, we know there's different communities coming together. We want to make sure that before anything happens that we understand none of that. No. Just first day of school, things popping off. But go ahead.
It comes down to them.
Let them know who's talking to.
Oh, this is anti-moral unity in the community. It comes down to them, what I call sense, money. You know what I mean? When you take a school and you see, as I was just telling the brother Stanley, when you have multiple neighborhoods going to a school, and you have in South Philadelphia, you have 24th Street, you have 27th Street, 30th Street, small side, and they all going to school together. You may not like a person, but you say to yourself, you know what, I know this person, so I'm going to see him every day. I care for him. So when someone says, oh, I want to go and kill Ross, like, no, you can't do that. I know his people. I know his family. We go to school every day. Yeah. But when you close the school and now kids get on social media and they don't see each other and they don't connect with one another, their first line of defense is, I'm going to disrespect them on social media, and when I see them, we just going to shoot at each other because they don't have to communicate with one another. They don't have to sit with each other every day for 8 hours. So you look at that, the government try to push everything off on the parents. You ain't going to push everything off on the parents because poverty has a lot to do with this. When you have people that are suffering, there's no jobs, schools closing, and gentrification, it's going to have an effect on African Americans. An ex-offender that go to jail, it's hard for them to get a job. Oh, yeah. So what do you think they're going to do? When it comes down to you feeding your child and living life, you're going to have to try to feed your child the best way you can. That's where we come from. We come from a struggle. And the struggle where we come from is, I have to put food on the table. And if society is not going to allow you to get a job and provide for your family, you have brothers and sisters that go out there and do what they have to do to put food on their table. It's not nothing crazy. Just how I see people posting the people selling dinners and different things like that. We've always did that. Yeah. Right. We've always had card games to get by. If you want to get your kids something for Easter, you had a selling part. I mean, it's just where we come from, and I'm proud of that because my mom had to have selling parties and different things like that. I'm with you. I just don't want them to get on to us and be like they gonna start knocking on doors when they hear the Al Green stuff. No, they come eat some of our food. They get some of that macaroni and cheese and that chicken.
They gonna smell the food, and now they gonna be doing raids on the taking all the dinners and stuff. We trying to raise some money.
But you look at that and the political part.
I feel you.
It's an effect. It's taking an effect in our community in South Philadelphia, and you start to see who cares about which neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods get more attention than others. You know what I mean? We understand that, and it weighs on our spirit and it weighs on our words. So we have to be conscious about that.
Now, with regards to the comment about the school closing, that does speak to a larger issue of gentrification and a larger issue about it being a plan. You want to come here a little bit, Coach?
Yes. This Coach Tab from World Communications on Charter School. And yes, just to piggyback off the brother Antoine and brother Stan or whatever what they saying, they gentrifying our neighborhood. When I grew up, we used to go to the rec centers and they used to have power centers. Okay, where the power centers at now? I know when I was a kid, they used to always take us to the Sixers games or the Temple games. Like nowadays, with our young black youth now, we can't even go, to the powers no more. You know what I mean?
I work with a boy in North Philly, Taj Murdoch, and he went to Gratz. And he said the same thing you said, and that's the only he does that now because he knows, like you said, they not even trying to do it. They not even pretending, to try to help a few of us. He said he got the group Men of Courage. He said, I just decided to do it myself. Like, I got to just take the boys to the game because that's the same thing with you, like participating in sports. If we don't do it now, waiting on rebuild and the soda tax and all that, we'll all be going by then. Yeah. But go ahead,
So
keep going.
They just gentrified the neighborhood. We can't even, go to certain places. Like, we go to the rec centers, they gonna kick them out or whatever, because they probably think, the young black men, they gonna come in here and start some trouble. No. When we was kids and we used to get out of school, they used to allow us to go to these piles and these rec centers. We'd be in there all day until like 7:45, 8 o'clock. We had to go home and get ready, for school the next day. But it's not like that no more. And like, just like, like the brother Antoine said, when the schools was open, we used to see each other. We used to have to go to school with each other 8 hours a day. But it's not like that no more. It's not like that. And like you said, for me, social media is bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
In the community, it has broken down. There's connection, that's just broken because, like you just said, they don't connect. The phone, they connect with that phone. They connect with that phone. Because I said when my son got killed, automatically it went around. Everybody knew.
Yes.
Everybody knew. Knocking on my door. Oh my God, it's like, that phone is something. It's really something.
Yeah, especially when they're not using it to help.
Right.
Like, if you're going to have that kind of capability where you could contact like millions of people in a couple seconds, but you can't tell one police
To let
department.
everybody know somebody died.
Yeah, and
They
don't
glorify that. They glorify that.
Yeah, there's some cultural shifts
glorify
that
it.
need to take place. Like, with regards to the accountability, there's some things that are considered cool that need to be outed as just not cool. And one of the differences is, at least back in the day, if somebody wasn't about that life, they can let that be known.
Right.
It could be a get down or lay down. Somebody be like, I'm not,
I ain't into that.
I'm not,
Right.
it's not me. And most people, if they was really from the street, they wouldn't even want you around. You're not cut from this cloth. You're not trying to be about this. But with social media, so many people pretending, the internet thugging thing, that like what you said, if we not having a conversation, and I've been talking tough online for a month, and when you see me, you say it's on site, and I'm like, it's whatever. By the time we recognize and realize that I ain't even want it, it's over.
Yeah.
Because you could run up on somebody back in the day and they'd be like, nah, I was just talking.
Yeah.
You might get knocked out still, but still, it's not.
Yeah, well, you ain't gonna
but it's
get
nothing
killed
crazy.
for
It's
it,
nothing
right.
crazy.
No.
Like it's funny how we more connected through technology, but we more disconnected to each other.
Yes.
Through these
Yes,
phones. So
yes.
I think this gentrification piece is playing a major role in the ineffectiveness of their response.
Yes.
Because when I hear these politicians talking, these aren't the conversations they having.
No.
They talking to jobs, they talking to this and that, all those trigger buttons. But when people are saying, yo, you ripped our family apart and we need support, and I don't hear the humanity, in a lot of the campaigning.
Right.
And that's why they trying to shift, 5 different shootings every night on the news instead of spending time talking about the community. And I talk to people from outside the community. What do you think they're gonna think?
Well, can I speak?
Go ahead, please.
Elaborate?
Yeah.
You have to do a little more than talking. Like talking. That's the difference between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King did all the talking. Malcolm X took action. And when I say take action, I don't mean violence. Like, for instance, I want to start a group called Bosses in the Making. And what that group would do is, like, say he a mechanic, say he own a barbershop, and say he own a detailing company. We would reach out to men like 16, 17, so when they graduate and they'll come out making $30 an hour, $40 an hour, they won't worry about going to the streets, doing drugs like they'll have. But with us black people, everything's about $1. He not gonna want to teach his trade without getting nothing from it. So what my group would do is offer these services for no charge, and then we'll have 1 million black men coming out making $30, $40 an hour. They not thinking about the streets. They busy for one thing, and they making good money where they staying away from the negativity.
And if there's some, I'll let you go right to this. If there's some people listening thinking that that's like a crazy idea, nobody's going to do that. I think people need to have a better historical perspective and understand that that's what America does all the time. If you remember with the stimulus packages with Obama, when they were talking about the banks and the big companies and all that, he said they too big to fail. And we got to believe that our young people are too important to us to fail.
Right.
So we got to be able to take a certain loss in order to make an inevitable gain, because when it comes to the government, they'll do it for theirs. They'll do it for their own. They'll make sure that their situation and their structure's in place, and they'll make the necessary sacrifices. And I think that we, as a people, need to make some generational sacrifices, whereas we secure the future and the profitability of the future generations, even if it means a certain different standard of living for us. Maybe not as many vacations, maybe not as many new cars and new shoes, but less murders and situations where we have, torn apart communities. So I'm gonna let you come. You're gonna start after the break. Before Quasi gets me, we're gonna keep it tight. Aaron Smith, rap professor, Quasi, super producer, Jay Scott taking over technology, and you are waking up with word, y'all.